Good morning. I hope you are all doing wonderful today. I am Diane Simmons at Cake Connection in Jackson, Michigan. And today we are going to play with Isomalt and our sugar dipper silicone sheets. And I'm going to show you an easier way where you don't, as you can see, we don't have the whole heating box with the heat lamp and everything going on. I'm going to show you how to make some a little bit simpler, easier Isomalt flowers. Okay? And we should, if she's not here already, we have Miss Peg Tucker joining us today in the comments to answer questions also. She owns Cake Play. All right? This is our favorite Isomalt of choice here. It's what we sell in the store. So we will be using that today. First and foremost, I have to, very first, we're going to show you today's prize giveaway. And are you guys ready? It's a big one today. It's over $100 worth of goodies. Eric's coming down here. We are giving you a full set, all 8 sheets of our sugar dippers. And we have a bag of gold, some of the pre-colored Isomalt, the gold shimmer from Cake Play. All right, so be sure and give us a shout out. Say hi, let us know you're here so we can get you entered. That's an awesome package today. Like I said, it's probably $130, $140 worth. I didn't add it up completely, but it's a good one today, folks. Alrighty, so back to it. I have to stress before we even get started, Isomalt, if you have not worked with it before, it is basically boiling sugar, okay? Isomalt is essentially sugar-free sugar, but it is what is used for a lot of diabetic candies and stuff, okay? It's one of the sugar substitutes. It holds up better than doing just straight sugar as far as durability and, you know, letting it, if you want your pieces to sit around a little longer, it doesn't break down as fast. It's not as sensitive to the humidity. Beyond that, you're going to have to ask Peggy technical questions because that's about the end of my technical input on the whole matter. But back to what I was getting to, it is boiling hot sugar, okay? It will burn instantly and immediately. It will peel your skin off. You don't want to, I have seen pictures of people, you guys, I cannot stress enough, please, please, please use precautions with this, okay, if you're going to play with it. We have cotton gloves. I totally forgot my nitrile gloves. I may be saying that wrong. It's the blue gloves, okay? Normally I wear those instead, but we're just using the plastic vinyl gloves. Please, please, please use your gloves, put them on, okay? Do something to keep this from possibly getting to your skin, okay? Give yourself a fighting chance to not have that burn. Like I said, I've seen pictures of people that, you know, oh, I'm just doing something real quick, I'll be okay. It's weeks for this to heal, okay? So, yes, the stuff is beautiful that you can make with it, and it's not difficult to use. Just use your noggin and be smart about it, okay? So that's the end of my safety lecture. All right. So, Isomalt. This is basically, there's 2 forms. I didn't even bring out the other. We have Isomalt crystals, which you can prepare. You have to boil them with water, get them to temperature. You've got to be careful. run water around the side of your pan and stuff when you're working with it. I am not going to sit here and show you all that, okay? It's a little bit of a process. Yes, it's a little cheaper, but I got to tell you, for what it's worth it for me to save the time and use these little nibs, okay? I'll set a couple on the table here so you can see them. They are essentially ready to go, all right? You just need some sort of a silicone container to melt them in. I'm just going to melt the whole bag today because I'm going to make a bunch of different colors. All right. This is just you can see, just a silicone container. There's also, these work handy, little silicone cupcake liners. Okay. Those are great. This, I can't get these anymore. This was just a silicone cupcake. I don't remember. I think there were 6 on the sheet maybe. But I just cut those apart and used the cups of those. Okay. So just something, like I said, something silicone to melt this with. All right. I'm going to put this in the microwave. And then I just have some wooden sticks that I'm going to use so I can throw them away when I'm done. You can buy silicone spatulas if you want, and that you're not wasting anything. These I'm just going to have to throw them away. Okay. But you just need something, you're going to want to stir this up. Okay. So we're going to put this in the microwave. And kind of same theory with your, if you've watched any of my demos with the chocolates and stuff, different microwaves are going to take different times, obviously, with your different wattages and so on. So you're going to have to kind of keep an eye on it. And plus, I'm melting a full bag, which is going to take a little bit longer. If I were just putting like 4 or 5 little nibs in here and melting it, probably 20-30 seconds, they would be done. Okay. I expect this whole container is probably going to take close to a minute. But you want to check it. Yeah, see, it's starting to soften up. It's been in there for 30 seconds. All right. Just kind of keep an eye on it. You want to get it so it's completely liquid and it's starting to bubble a little bit. Okay. And one thing I do want to stress, because I've done this, I'm speaking from experience, so trust me on this one, do not melt this in a Pyrex like a Pyrex measuring cup. I literally exploded one in my microwave once. I can't even tell you how bad that freaked me out. Oops. Okay, man down. I had one shoot out of here. All right, I'm going to show you where we're at a minute in. I didn't even think about this being the clear against the clear silicone here.
They can tell.
But there you can see we're starting to melt, but I've still got some chunks going on in there, so we're going back in. Is Peggy on here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as I mentioned right at the beginning, Peggy Tucker is on here. She is the owner of Cake Play. Okay. So if you have technical questions, she has said that she will hop in and answer those for us. So if you get a response from somebody named Peg Tucker, you're getting the goddess of Isomalt. Okay. So take it as gospel and listen to what she tells you. And I begged her to be gentle on me, okay? She does Isomalt daily, I do not. But I did develop all the sugar dippers, so there's that. I'm just going to show you how to use them, and like I said, she works with Isomalt on the daily basis, so. Okay, you can see here we've got the Isomalt melted. Now I want to make some colors. The cake play, these nibs are, I'm sorry, we shut one phone off and he didn't realize the other one was back here. We're getting that out of the room right now. Okay, the Isomalt nibs are available in different colors. Okay, so you can buy it pre-colored, ready to go. You don't have to do anything with it. But I want to show you how to add some color to it also. So if you just want to get started, using some clear is a great way to get going. Okay, and we're going to do a few of them here just to get some different colors. And one great thing with the silicone cups like this, when you get done, if you want, you can literally just leave these in the silicone to completely cool down, and then you can stack them up and store them. Okay, so that is wonderful in itself. All right, we've just got some food color here. Just gonna put a drop on there. Whoa, that was a little bit more than the drop that we wanted. Guess we're having a little bit darker pink than what we thought. Okay, just stir that in. And now we have some pink Isomalt. Literally that simple, okay? You can use the airbrush colors, which have more water in them, okay? If you do that, you want to put that on while your Isomalt is still like bubbling, okay? Drop the food color on the top of it and let it sizzle. And what that's doing is getting rid of some of that excess water in there, okay? And I'm going to make a couple different greens here. So this one I put just avocado in. Not sure how well the colors are showing up in there.
Yeah, when you put it up like that, it looks,
okay.
You can tell.
There we can see more.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of, as it's stringing down, that's kind of more the color you're going to see on there. Okay. So we've got some pink, some green, and then I'm going to, I still need to make some blue too. Okay. So I'm going to do some leaf green. And a little bit of avocado. Not a lot. There we go. So that will give us a second shade of green. And the reason I do that, I always just like a little variation with the leaves if I'm making any sort of an arrangement. Okay. And that's with anything. If I'm doing, cakes or gum paste flowers, whatever. I like to have a few different shades of greenery. That just helps kind of get some variation going on there. And then I'm going to do some blue, and I'm just going to use my big cup here and leave what's left in there. Oops. And I'm doing a little sky blue and a little royal blue. And we're starting to thicken up here. I don't know if I can still stir that up. So I'm going to put these back in the microwave. We're definitely getting too cooled down to work with. Okay. They're warm, but they've cooled down more so than what we need. Okay. So I'm going to use the blue first for what we're doing. I want to prep and show you. And what I'm about to show you here is 100% stolen from Miss Peggy Tucker. This is, I started doing this one day to demo and said, oh, I'm using that for my classes. And because Peggy's an awesome, amazing person, she said, you go, girl. Just be safe about it. That's always her #1 rule. Okay, so I want to make a base for the flour that I'm going to make for you, okay? So I just have some Pam spray and some aluminum foil, and I'm just going to do a quick light coat on there. And then I'm going to crumple that a little bit. And you'll see why momentarily. Okay, so got that all prepped. I'm going to flatten it back out a little bit. And I'm going to put my blue back in the microwave because that's what I'm going to put down on there. And I want to remelt all that. And this, as you can guess, this is a lot of microwave work, okay? You've got to keep the Isomalt warm enough. So we'll just hop back and forth and get it warmed back up nice as needed. All right, we are bubbling in there. So I'm going to stir that up real quick. Now it's nice and hot. And we're just going to pour that out on here. And the heat is absolutely coming through the cup. It is hot. Okay. Spread that out a little bit. All right, so like I said, I'm just making a base for what I'm going to create. So I want to let that, while it's pretty flat still, I want it to sit and cool just a little bit, but not too much. And then as it starts to cool down, I'm going to bend it up a little bit just to make kind of a backdrop, okay? So that's just our, I'm going to kind of keep the front of that. I need some portion of it flat to sit on the table, okay? So we're bending up this back portion, just for a little bit of, like I said, a backdrop to it, okay? You don't have to do it this way. If you just want like a flat base, you could absolutely flip one of the molds over. Oops, I got one back here out of the package. If you need just some flat silicone, okay, if you want to make a circle or something, you can pour it out on here, absolutely. That would work to make a base, okay? This one, I'm just showing you, this is going to give it a little bit of texture, kind of give it almost like a watery, icy look back behind it, okay? Because you're going to kind of see the crinkles from the foil in that once that sets up. So I'm going to set that aside, just lean up against my cup there for a minute. And then, let's start working on our flour. So, you can see this is setting back up. It's breaking, it's snapping. Okay? That is totally fine. We're just going to warm that back up in the microwave to work with it. And then I also am going to grab some toothpicks to have ready to work with. And again, these little cups, like pretty much 10-15 seconds, they should be good to go. Not quite. We're getting there. That was about 10 seconds, I think, so we'll give it another 10 seconds and we should be good. there we go, lots of bubbles. Okay, and you see the bubbles on camera?
Mm-hmm.
It's starting to boil up. That is what we want it doing. Nice and hot for what we're going to do. I'm actually starting to get a little bit worried that I might not have melted enough. I'm actually very worried. Will you go grab me another package of this?
Clear?
Yeah,
Okay.
just the clear is fine. I'm quite concerned I don't have enough isomalt to do a full flour when I went to make all the different colors here. So I'm going to melt just a little bit more in here. Alright, we got some more clear. But, and Peggy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's always been my understanding, kind of same with chocolate, you don't want to put a solid nib into hot melted. So we're going to melt some clear and then add it to it. Did she say that was right?
What?
Peggy! Peggy! Answer us, Peggy. Is she there?
Don't forget there's a delay.
Oh, I forgot. There is like a 10 or 15 second delay with Facebook Lives too, so she may not have heard my question yet. But she'll answer and tell us. That's just, I've always been of the understanding that you don't want to add cold nibs into the hot ones, into, you know, melted stuff. And same thing if you work with chocolate. You, as a general rule, you don't want to stir in a bunch of, you know, if you've overheated your chocolate, that's one thing. You may need to just stir some in. But as a general rule, you don't want to stir in a whole lot of cold into the hot and shock it and stuff. So we're going to get this melted and then stir it into the melted pink that we've got. Just because if you missed it, I don't think I've got quite enough there. I might, but it would be too close and I don't want to risk it and have you guys frustrated that you sat here watching and I wasn't really good prepared. Alright, so now we've got that melted. Just getting that out of there. And the excess that's in there, okay, I'm not going to sit there and fight with that right now. Make you guys watch that. But once that cools down, it will literally pop right off. And then you can remelt it. I can set it back inside this for the next time I melt. And it'll melt right back down. Okay? There. So now we've got just a little bit lighter pink too. So that kind of helps since I got more pink than what I was hoping for initially when I dropped the food color in there. And my pink had started to set back up just a little bit. I'm trying to get that all stirred off the bottom too. Alright. So, one of the bonuses with the silicone is you can kind of pinch it together here. And once you pour that in, I'm just working that out, and this is often where I will use the toothpick and just kind of move that around to the edges, okay? Can you go see if somebody's... Sorry, we've got the phone ringing out there. I think we might have a customer came to pick up a curbside order. I'm going to warm that back up just a little bit. Just a second. I'm warming the Isomalt up just a smidge. Okay. So there. Oh, much better. All right. Pour that in, and I'm just using my toothpick just to run that out to the edges. Okay. And now with the set, with the silicone sheet, we have different options. Okay. We've got this, so if you want to do 3 bigger petals and 3 smaller petals, you can. If you want to do all the same size petals, you can. You know, you just need to re-pour those. Okay.
Do you need to spray these at all before you use
No,
them?
you do not need to spray these, okay? Isomalt and silicone are buddies. They work very well together. You don't have to do any special prep of the silicone. Just roll with them, okay? Whoops. A little extra drippy going on there. Just grab a little bit more out of there. Okay. There. Grabbed all of our excess stringies out of there. So, I'm going to go back here. Our first one that we poured. You got to catch these basically at the right time to do bending with them. And I am just carefully moving those. It's still soft. Okay, but if I really pushed it, I would snap it most likely. Okay, so I'm catching it while it's still soft. But I can just gently bend it back to shape. Okay, so it's just got a natural curve to it. That one is not quite ready. Let's see if that'll show up on the screen. I went to pull that out. Are we zoomed in enough that you can see?
Yeah.
It's still sticking. Okay, so I'm just going to press it back down in there. It's close to ready, but not quite. Okay. And we're just going to shape it. All right. Our smaller ones are going to set up a little bit quicker just because they're smaller. So they are probably ready. Yep, they are. All right. I just snapped it, which is okay. I'm going to take just a tiny bit. I dipped into the warm silicone, or oh my gosh, into the warm Isomalt.
So I want to ask, how long do they take to set up before you're able to put them on a cake?
Almost instantly. These will be ready. Okay, these small ones actually cooled down more. I'm having trouble bending this. It's getting there, but okay. So the small ones definitely set up cooler or quicker. Okay, so we've got all of this that I just made. I'm just very gently trying to bend this one a little bit more without snapping it. Okay, I don't want to force it too much. So to put these together, sorry, I gotta grab my chair here. Stooping over too much at that point. I'm gonna hop back over here I want to get this shaped around a little bit too beforehand, okay? So this was my blue that I put on the foil. And is that showing through there? Can you see the crinkles?
A little
Is it
bit.
zoom in enough to see?
Yeah.
Okay. You can kind of see it once the light goes through there. Alright. So, it is not, you can see it's kind of rocking around here. We are going to use a torch on that in a minute. But, let's build, throw this back in the microwave here real quick. Usually my room is too hot. Today it's a little too cool for this. I see why. Eric turned the air conditioner on yesterday because I was having one of my hot moments. And I said it was getting too warm in here, so he turned the air on yesterday. And I'm not going to complain. I'm all right with that. But that does explain an air conditioner is having us set up a little bit quicker than what I had anticipated. Okay, so we got the red warm back up here. All right, and I do usually just use some silicone, okay, for the back of the, just to put stuff together like this. So I have all my parts and pieces here, okay. And now your flowers tend to grow in triangle shapes, okay? So we're going to take our 3 smaller ones, we're going to put those together, and you just need a little bit of warm silicone, oh my gosh, I keep with the silicone. Warm Isomalt and warm Isomalt to put them together, okay? So we've got those, and I'm going to dip my 3rd one in here while everything's still nice and warm. And get those together. All right. There we go. And then I don't want to wait too long because everything's still nice and warm and can sit together. I want to get these other 3 in there, and then I can move them back up while it's still got a little bit of play with it. Okay. So now I can shape it just a little bit because I'm going to set it on my platform like this. So I kind of want those bottom ones more in that shape. Alright. So I'm just holding that there for a quick second to let that set up. And we do, I think my UPS driver just brought my freeze spray. So we have freeze spray now too. That it's just a can that you can cool down. All right. I literally, it's not going to be on the website quite yet. I will try and get on there yet this afternoon. I haven't even seen. In just a minute here, maybe we can have Eric or Jacqueline even open the box up, and I'll show you what the jars of it look like. But we have some of our suppliers are just getting opened back up from the whole pandemic stuff, so I am able to get some orders in. So we got some new stuff, okay? So there, it's basically, it's holding on its own. It's not completely cooled down, you know, there in the center yet. So we want to let that sit a little bit, but it's cool enough to stay its shape, all right? You could also take some more silicone and just set back in behind it. If you want to kind of prop it a little bit. Oops, that was more than I wanted. But you could put stuff back in behind it just to prop it up a little bit if needed. Okay? Not necessary, but you could if you wanted to. But you saw, you know, it literally took, what, 30 seconds or so of just holding it in place. And it's together. Okay? So then, we do the same thing to make some leaves. And I'm going to warm both of these up at once. And hopefully we can just get some out real quick for you. we having any questions or anything on there so far, or is Peggy taking care of them?
Taking pretty good care of them.
Huh?
She's taking pretty good care of them.
Peggy's taking good care of everybody. I knew she would. That's awesome. Because Peggy is awesome. Whoop. Not quite done with the warm-up yet. Just another quick couple seconds. There, digging out the freeze spray. We just got, I don't remember the item number even. It's a brand new thing. Okay, give us just a second here. I'm just warming up the green. But we're doing them both at once, so we won't, hopefully shouldn't have to do this again. There we go. Okay, we've got bubbles. Lots and lots of bubbles. Okay, so as I mentioned, I like to have a few different colors. I'm going to show you how to build a quick spray of ivy too. So I want to pour just a couple of these in some ivy leaves. Did we get some freeze spray? Okay. Can you set that over here so it's on screen? This is some of our cooling spray. Like I said, we just got that in from PME. My UPS driver just dropped it off for us. So we will have that on the website. And what that would do, basically, where I was just sitting there holding that in place, that eliminates the need to hold it and wait, okay? If you're working with a big structure or something, it's great for that. It also works on chocolate. But it just kind of instantly sets everything, cools it down, and sets it real quick for you. Okay, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of these. 3 or 4 of them will make us a nice little, quick little spray, just so you can get the idea here. Okay. So, there we have some ivy leaves poured. And then, I'm going to utilize the back of this. And I'm just going to pour, definitely more than I wanted there. We'll do a second one too. I'm just making essentially, okay, there, that's enough. Whee! Alright, so I'm just making the trail there to put the ivy leaves on, okay? And you don't have to do this immediately or anything. Now you can also take some of this while it's warm and spray, there we go. I just sprayed a little bit of Pam on one of my sticks, okay? So here we'll take our long one. And if you want to make a spiral, you can do that. And then I just want to pull the end just to give that a thinner, okay, we're having a broken end there. Alright, but you can make little curlicues, quick and easy. Just snap that off. Okay, so we've got this. I want to get that while it's still a little bit hot. I'm making kind of a base so we can lodge that in just a second. All right, and then we're going to take our leaves, and they've cooled down that quick, okay, and they've set up so we can work with them. Then I want to take some of my Isomalt while it's still warm. And because of the shape of these, if I dip that down in, I'd be getting Isomalt down here on the edges. I'd be getting the Isomalt down here instead of up here at the point where I want it. So I'm going to use either a toothpick or here I'm using my stick, okay? Just getting a little bit on there and going over. We're going to hook that. And it's not going to stay on there for me because I did not put any warm on my, because you need warm to warm to warm to hook to. So we are going to use our torch and warm this up just a little bit. Oh, you were working just fine. Stop it. Alright, I know this is full. I just filled it up. There we go. Okay, I'm going to lock the blade on, or the flame on. Turn the flame down. And we'll see if that warmed it up enough. It is. It's working fantastico. Alright. Are we getting all this on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's probably move the freeze spray away from the flame. Okay. I'm going to go on the back of the leaf. Warm that up. Is Peggy like flipping out saying, no, 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 don't do it that way?
She was letting you know you need hot for a good connection.
I know. It's not connecting good because I don't have hot. It doesn't want to play because of that. But the reason I'm bucking the system because I'm afraid if I heat my little sticky up, I'll break it. So yes, Peggy is absolutely correct. I should be doing hot. Whoops. I hot-hotted my glove. That wasn't good. Okay, there we go. And I broke that little piece off. I'm just going to take it off of there. Or not. I'm going to let that sit down there and cool down for just a hot second. I can't even imagine the phone call I'm going to get from Peggy in a little bit. She's going to be yelling at me, Diane. I told her beforehand to be very, very nice to me about this. Okay, flame is off. Alright. Then I'm just going to make a couple small leaves here. And it's already set back up too much. All thanks to that air conditioning running. But again, I'm not complaining about that. Because I do enjoy a cool room. Alright. We've got some of our other green here. Nice and warm. We're going to pour this real quick. Alright, so we'll make some basic leaf here. And there's a lot of the flower petals and the leaf petals are actually interchangeable. So like this one right here that I'm pouring, you could totally use for a flower lily petal, okay? So we've got that. Down And then here I'll pour, I like having a variety of leaves. So we're just going to get a few different types here to pop on. Because you can always add a large cluster of leaves. Typically, with most things in sugar art, leaves are quicker and simpler to make. Normally, okay? And I got too much in there, so I am, if you can see here, just pulling some of the excess off and putting that back in my container. But back to what I was saying, typically your leaves, you can do those a lot quicker and easier, okay? So kind of bear that in mind, you know, when you're pricing out, if you're making an arrangement for somebody with something. You can maybe do 1 or 3 flowers space-wise, fill it up with some greenery that's a lot quicker and simpler, and then still have a really gorgeous piece, but you didn't have to worry about making so many of the time-consuming flowers, okay? So think of greenery as your friend. It is awesome for fillers, okay? And like I said, I'm not going to make a ton of greenery. I just want to put a few different ones in here just to show you, all right? And again, when I'm taking these out, I'm just gently bending them while they're still warm, okay? Alternatively, with the silicone sheets, if you cut these apart into individual petals like this, are we zoomed down this way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you have these cut apart in individual petals, if you are really afraid of working with the Isomalt and you know don't want to risk anything, you could leave it in the silicone, okay, and just sit here and twist it like this until it completely cooled, so you don't have to touch it at all, all right? Let me see if I'm still warm enough to dump this in here. Not sure, we'll try. May not be wanting to play quite so much. No, it's really not wanting to. It's cooled down a little too much here. I'll see if I can force it down in there. Okay. And this is warm and pliable still a little bit, so I can press it down in with my fingers. All right. But then, where I was saying, if you poured it in there and you don't want to touch it, okay, the silicone's flexible enough, you can bend that and hold it like that for just a minute, or use some props to set it in, okay? Just until that cools down. Let's see, that look like. There, yeah, it's starting to sit up. Okay, so that one, I didn't have to do anything with my hands, shaping it around, but you can see it's got some movement to it, okay? And that was just from moving my silicone around, holding it in place while the Isomalt cooled down, okay? So there is that option with these. Just as I mentioned, to do that, you would just want to cut these apart separate, okay? So now that we've got some parts and pieces here, and we've got our flower made. Now you can go back to and use, you can make basically stamen, you know, some little pieces and put down in the flower if you want. I am not going to sit and fiddle around and worry about that right now. Okay, we're just showing you some basics with this. But you can absolutely take some small pieces, okay, just some little pieces of Isomalt, and heat everything up and insert those in to make some stamens. Okay, you could use some pre-made stamens from craft stores and insert them in. You just have to warm your Isomalt up to get them to stick to it. Okay, so we've got our parts and pieces here. Now this, as I mentioned earlier, it's kind of rocking around a little bit. All right, so I think this is my empty one. All right, got my torch. I did want to show you, I left one of them empty on purpose to show you here. Okay, this is just a refill kit. And on the bottom, there is the little kind of hex looking thing there. And then we've got our fuel. And you just push all of this. Why is it? Oh, there we go. Okay. And I can feel this, the cold coming up into the tank inside of this as it's filling. Okay? I can feel it literally getting cold in there. So that should, oops, and that have my lock on. All right. These have been out in hiding for quite some time. Ah, there we go. Okay, and then there's a, whoop. Okay, we'll grab the other one that was working just fine. Okay, there we go. There's a button over here you can lock the flame on, and then there's a just over on this side to turn the flame down. Okay? What I want to do is warm this up a little bit, just so I can flatten that out some and get rid of that rocking. Okay? Now, in doing this, I want to be careful that I'm not burning myself. I just want to soften that up a little bit. So we've got some movement going on there. Layla, there it goes. Oh, that's making it worse. Okay, I go. Soften that back down. And this also, oh, it's starting to crack on me. It doesn't want to do that. If you have some Isomalt sitting that has some air bubbles on the top of it, if you run your torch along, that will get rid of those as well. Okay.
Peggy's glad she's not the only one who has trouble with the torches on live videos.
Who had trouble? Stop it, Peggy. Nobody had trouble. Alright. I am outright just going to full-blown melt some of this. And I really am melting some of it. Just to make it sit down there. There it goes. Okay. Whoops. Alright, we're shutting Mr. Torch off. Okay. So, now, whoops. See, I shut Mr. Torch off, and we don't want Mr. Torch off. Oh, look at that. It's going to work again second time. Okay. So, I want to warm the spot where we're going to put it. Warm that a little bit more. And I'm going to press that in. And there, flour is attached. Okay. Then, oh, that thing does not want to play. All right, I'm gonna warm over here. Warm the bottom of. Oh, snap of dilly. Okay, so that one's not going on there.
Oops.
Be very careful with your torch and your plastic gloves, guys. I'm just gonna laugh about it. Okay, so we're gonna warm that and warm in there. And attach the leaf in. I gotta hold that for just a second, please. Are they all laughing at me? My little fire?
I don't know, but Peggy definitely is.
Peggy's laughing at me?
Oh, yeah.
Stop it, Peggy. You're my buddy, my pal. See, what can go wrong will go wrong in the land of live videos. There's never been a truer statement out there. That's all I got to say. Okay. And we're going to put a leaf out here in the front. I'm going to warm that up and that up. Oops. See, I overwarmed that just a tad. There we go. Okay, but you can see just putting in some different. I don't know if this one's going to want to stick so well. There, I melted that enough to put some extra down on the base of it. Okay. And just bear in mind, folks, this is just a quick throw together. I'm going to shut my torch off now. So I'm afraid I'm going to set my plastic gloves on fire. Okay. I get this is not the beautiful finished product. That takes a little bit more time and getting everything around, but I just wanted to give you some quick ideas for how to work with the Isomalt, okay? Can't stress enough, just be safe about it, okay? And I thank you to Miss Peggy Tucker. Cake Play Isomalt. It's the winner chicken dinner, people. Okay? But thank you, Peggy, for coming on and answering questions for people as they had it with the Isomalt. And then, do we have a winner, Eric, for our super prize today?
We had a question first.
Oh, we have a question first. Okay, what's our question first?
Could someone, if they wanted to use petal dust instead of gel color to color with, like a petal or a luster?
Yes, you could. If it is I would highly recommend make sure you're getting an actual food color, one of the edible products. Okay, we have the pristine powders here. That is, actual powdered food color. So yes, you can with that. Again, just caution. Make sure you're using a food ingredient if this is something that you think may, kids might walk up and eat it or something. Okay.
All right, we found the winner.
We found the winner.
All right.
Who is our winner of our huge prize today?
This is Trisha Tooley.
Trisha Tooley. How do
T
you spell that?
Tooley.
Okay. Trisha Tooley. I think he is pronouncing it right. At least that's how I pronounce it.
So that's what I'm saying.
So Trisha Tooley, you have won our complete set of sugar dippers. We've got 8 different sheets in here. We have some big butterflies, some different bow texture sheets. So you can make some fun bows, and a bunch of different flower ones. And those also all have a butterfly or 2 or 3 on them. And a package of gold Isomalt nibs. So yay, Trisha. Just send me your address, please, so I can get that shipped out to you. If you would just send me a message through Facebook Messenger, and we will get that sent out to you. And again, thank you, Peggy, for coming on and answering questions. in detail with the Isomalt. So hopefully you enjoyed today, and we will see you back on Monday. I'm not sure what we're doing yet. I'll have to think about that. But I will put an announcement out probably tomorrow, and we'll let you know what we are doing. So everybody, thank you so much, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.